Morning! Today we're going to talk about different ways to organize history. So if you did not get your top 10 done from yesterday, stop and go back and do that because we're going to use that constantly today. So if you did not get yesterday's assignment done, you cannot do today's assignment. So go do that. Okay? Who we're going to talk about today is Big Boy. Big Boy is a chain of restaurants. There used to be one in Ionia. It just recently changed. This guy's been around for like 50, 60 years. The iconic red and white checkered parquet bib overalls. And the hair parted just like mine. As a matter of fact, I went as Big Boy for Halloween once. If you shave my face, I look remarkably like Big Boy. So that's what we're going to talk about today. This video is mostly going to be instructions. Again, if you didn't do the list of most important events in your life, you need, and put dates on them, you need to go do that right now, and then come back. So let's talk about what we're going to do today. You need a new blank sheet of paper. You're going to keep that other one separate. The list of 10 items, you're going to keep using that, so don't use that same sheet of paper. Get another sheet of paper. Doesn't matter if it's lined. Doesn't matter if it's blank. I happen to have a blank one, but line's just fine. And we're going to do this, and we're going to go bit by bit and do it. But the first thing you need to do is divide your paper into 4 parts. Okay, so do that real quick. I'll pause. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to tell you what you do in each of the squares. So in the first square, get over there. You're going to put chronologically, and that's how you spell that. That's also known as temporally. Both of those are ways to say time related. Chronology is Greek, temporally is Latin. A lot of our stuff's going to be named after those old Greeks and Romans. So chronologically, number it 1 through 10, and then make an arrow going from old to new. If you need to pause to finish that, please do so. Okay. The next one, we're going to do significance. Okay. That's going to be most to least, numbered 1 to 10. Then we're going to do spatially. Get back on the screen. Spatially, closest to farthest. Okay. And last but not least, thematically, most related and least related. So go ahead and get that made. Pause it if you need to, and then come right back. And then we'll talk about why we're doing this. All right. There's actually a number of ways to study history. The most common one is what we call chronologically. When did it happen? And how does it relate to the other thing we're studying? So if you were to study the Holocaust, then you would have to start with, maybe the birth of Hitler, because he's the guy that created the whole thing. So you study kind of when something happened and how it relates to the bigger topic. That's the most common way to do things. You made a list of 10 most important events in your life, and the first thing I want you to do for today's assignment is to take those 10 events, and hopefully you put the dates on there, okay? And I want you to put them in this, right here, this corner, right here, and I want you to put the oldest one here. Probably a lot of you started with being born. That's probably on your most significant list. Put that right there. That's the oldest thing that happened. And put them in order of the newest one at the bottom, oldest one at the top. And it might be a good idea for you guys to number them on your original list or something like that, or make a practice list, because you're going to make a mistake on this. Probably a lot of people do. So maybe do a practice run and make sure you get them in the right order, and then copy them over to here. That's a common problem. So once you get that done, we'll go on. So, and pause and go. Okay. Second way to organize history, and this is less common, but it's how a lot of books are actually written. And one of the ways we study is significance, which means what events had the biggest effect on whatever we're studying. So what events had the biggest effect on the Holocaust? Not necessarily which one happened first, but if without this thing, the Holocaust would have happened. And without this thing, the Holocaust wouldn't have happened. So whatever we're studying, what is the biggest effect on that? If we talk about COVID-19, what's the biggest effect on that? And you probably have to go back to the outbreak in China, or so the decisions made by a lot of different governments in the world in those first few months. Okay, those kind of things are probably more important to study than what happened yesterday. Okay, significance of of the start of World War II for America, you got to put Pearl Harbor on there. That also happens to be the last event, so that would appear last on a chronological event. But it might appear first on a significance list. Okay, so the most significant events would be listed at the top or number one. The least significant event would be last. So right now, that's another way to organize history. So let's take your history and let's organize it by significance. Okay, so you're going to put the most important thing that happened on your list, and you're going to put it in the number one slot. Okay. Now, everything on your list is significant because that's what we asked you to do. So the least of all of the significant things is going to go on number 10. So just rank them in order of the most important thing that happened in your life. Okay? Even number 10 is important. We're not saying that, but it's the least important of all of the really important things you wrote down. Okay? So do that significance one, and then we'll talk. All right. Now, spatially. This is less common, but one of the ways you can organize history is the distance away from the main event. So going with Holocaust, that happened mostly in Eastern Europe. And if we were to study the stuff that affected it, one of the ways you can study is how close did it happen to the actual event. Okay, some of the stuff that happened in Germany is farther away than the stuff that actually happened in the concentration camps, because Germany liked to ship the victims of the Holocaust off so that their own people wouldn't be disgusted by what was going on or even catch on. If we were to take, again, the beginning of World War II, Japan's quite a long way away from America, and we were in a depression at the time, and that brought us into World War II. So the depression happened home, Japan happened a lot farther away. Okay, so we organize things by how close it was to the original event. So what we'll do right now is we will pick PW schools as the center, okay? So you're going to organize your 10 events. Let's get it on the screen. Over there. There we go. There you go. The number one event is going to be the one that happened closest to PW Middle School, High School. The 10th event is going to be one that happened farthest away from PW Middle School, High School. If there's a tie, then those particular ones don't need to go in order. Like say 3 events happened at your house, and that's the 4th closest one. You can have 4, 5, and 6. It doesn't matter what order they're in, okay? But how close did that event happen to PW schools? Put them in that order and go. All right. Last but not least, we have thematically. One of the ways to study history is just based on some, not really random criteria, but some useful criteria like religion or something like that. So we're going to take your events. We're just going to pick a theme. Okay, how you interpret that theme is completely up to you. That's part of the fun. Okay, so we're going to take your thematically, okay, and go ahead and write the word growth in there. So whatever theme it is can change every time. We could take this exact same list and we could do it based on happiness. We could do it based on the weather. We could do it based on all kinds of different things. So today we're just going to do it based on the concept of growth. Okay? Get up there. Yeah, all right. So the number one thing on your list that is most related to the concept of growth, it goes number 1. The one that's least related to growth, you would put in number 10. Okay? It's just a different way to organize history, a different way to organize information. Okay? So when you're doing it thematically, you're just kind of picking a way to study history that's not related to time, distance, or significance. Okay? So organize yours that way, and then we'll talk about how you're going to hand it in. All right, we're back. So you're gonna turn this in the same way you did yesterday. If you have a Chromebook and you're gonna turn with a Chromebook, you need to take the picture on a Chromebook, then you need to email it to yourself. Do not email it to me. Email it to yourself and hand it in Google Classroom. I'm gonna make an assignment for it. Don't get the 2 assignments confused, by the way. One is top 10 activity, that's just the 10. And then this one's going to be named Organizing Top 10 Activity, or Organizing Your Top 10. Make sure you turn it in there. So if you have a Chromebook, if you're using a Chromebook, email the picture to yourself, and then you can turn it in. If you're using your cell phone, download the Google Classroom app. Make your life easy. And then you actually just go to the assignment, and click on add, and you could just add a picture. Okay, and it's really super easy. But I need to see your information organized those 4 different ways, and you will be graded on accuracy. So make sure you get that done. As always, any questions, either email me or we can do some Google time or whatever you need to do. But I'd love to make sure I can help you get this done. All right, thanks. Have a great day.